Hello friends, Jennifer Pearson here, Thistle Gypsy, with the Mermaid Tarot. And I know that there are other mermaid decks out there, and this is the first one that has appealed to me. I am a Cancer, and I don't have much in the way of watery decks because most of the ones that I have seen, I haven't been that attracted to. So having been attracted to this one, it was really hard for me to pass it up. I had it on my birthday list and nobody got it for me. So I have now officially gotten it for myself. So it's a beautiful box. A ribbon kind of pulls both the book and the deck out of the well. Got a little fishy in there. So this deck is out there. I don't see a lot of people talking about it. Maybe it's considered kind of kitsch, like many people have considered the Mystical Cats deck, but the Mystical Cats is a great deck. And so this has a beautiful guidebook with full color borderless pages, images of each card. So yeah, there's some eye candy going on. I have to admit there is eye candy going on. And I'm not going to, I think it's just again, illustrated by Julie Dillon, Leeza Robertson doing the text. There's not a super duper lot on each card, which to me is fine. I don't think there's much in the way of front and back matter. You know, even the majors have a little bit more. They do have reversed, upright and reversed meanings. But yeah, so let's go for it. Let's just look at the cards. Let's see if I can keep the glare off. These are still in order. I can be kind of a sucker for a fantasy deck. Although, like I said, I've looked at, I don't know, there's something kind of Disney about this, the illustrations here, and I don't necessarily mean that as a good or a bad thing. It just is. But as I said, I've looked at what am I saying? Mermaid decks before. There's a variety. Even if you look at Mermaid Tarot, I think there's another Mermaid Tarot out there. So I've been kind of picky and just have not, you know, mermaids and dolphins, couldn't do that. I feel like I'm going through them too fast or something. This is... Yep. So it doesn't, you know, it's not difficult to see which cards they are. They're very Rider-Waite-Smith based. So it was interesting how for fire they took, it's a Pacific Islanders kind of a suit, the volcanic formation. I can't see like what the cups, which was what we just finished, the suit of cups represents any particular area, ethnicity, society. But this is very clearly Pacific Islander. With this going on, it could particularly be like New Zealand and the Maori, but I don't know that that's the case. So we do have diversity in our mermaid deck here. It seems to me like there's more than one, like this is the Seven of Wands, and this is the Five of Wands, kind of, and you would think that that would be the 8, but it's the 5. So that's the 7, and this is the 8. So that's a little strange. And this is actually, this volcano appears to be erupting underwater. That, I think this is supposed to be the surface of the water up here. So, like an angel deck that I recently reviewed, we've got some pretty beefcakey, ripped, muscled, heavily muscled guys in this deck. So to me, I didn't look in this book, but to me this, which is the Pentacles, the suit of Pentacles, strikes me as freshwater, like this appears to be a freshwater pond. So this seems to be the suit of freshwater, which is interesting. I don't usually think in terms of freshwater mermaids, but I'm willing to have my consciousness raised here. And so close to the earth and other animals. And the 9 is actually isolated, like a kelpie in the pool or something. But then this is back underwater, like, again, Atlantis or something. So that's a little strange with the rest of the deck. Seems more freshwater in nature. So the Suit of Swords, now this is going to be also in the northern regions, like there's going to be a lot of ice in this suit, for example. And another example. So it's the Arctic waters, which is an interesting choice. But I don't really see the seasons, if you're going to think of it in terms of seasons, I don't really see the seasons depicted in the other suits so much. So this has cardstock kind of similar to the Mystical Cats, Magical Dogs, that kind of cardstock. These are the backs. Which works for me because it means it should be really easy to shuffle. So let me do some shuffling. Probably bridge that. Oops. Things went foul there. Let's try that again. Doesn't quite want to. Let me just see if it says anything. The book is super heavy. The cardstock is. It'd be one of those decks where you're paying more for the book than for the deck. There's a little numerology quick glance, major and minor. The flow of the deck. Talks a little bit about the quartz. Okay, so the Kingdom of Wands is represented by the guardians of the volcanoes. The Kingdom of Pentacles is represented in this deck by the guardian of lakes, rivers, and waterfalls. These merfolk look after land-based waterways. The Kingdom of Cups is represented by the guardians of the deep ocean. They reside in the never-ending vast spaces of the sea and control the wild currents, manage the weather, and patrol the deepest, darkest caverns. The Kingdom of Swords is filled with the guardians of the polar ice caps. Harsh terrain, isolation, and wilderness are their domain. So that's your conception for the suits. Okay, because this is essentially a Rider-Waite-Smith based deck, I don't feel the need to, this is shuffler error, really. Nope. Oh, they're escaping. To read from the guidebook. I have most recently been purchasing oracle decks, and so at the end of a walkthrough or first impression, I've been doing pick the card and then read from the guidebook. I'm more interested in just why can't I shuffle? What's wrong with me? I've been doing so much side shuffling. I can't shuffle. I'm going to split the deck. Let's just have some information. The Three of Cups, the Empress. So this is how it looks. It's deep and dark. And the Nine of Pentacles. The Three of Cups, the Empress, and the Nine of Pentacles. And the Wheel of Fortune. This is a very hermitish kind of Nine of Pentacles. I feel like this set of three is saying that to be the Empress, you have to have both of these. You have to have a command of the Pentacles, and you have to also have a facility with socializing. that there's a social aspect and an isolation aspect. There's the, as they said, the deep ocean aspect and the earthy aspect. And this I take to mean that if I'm going to keep this stability, I'm going to have to be careful because the wheel is turning. And I feel like the wheel is turning and that this is bringing change in my stability. King of Wands. Well, this is curious. It's interesting. There are sharks. He's in a school of sharks here. So I'll be expecting a proposal anytime now. Because to me that's what this, whether it's, yep, and there's the Emperor. So it's either speaking of how I need to hold down my own. These could be people that I, helpers. You know, if they're lawyers or teachers or whatnot, that I consult, people that I would consult in order to make it through the Wheel of Fortune times. I would take that to be more likely than what I said before, like I'm about to receive a proposal, especially with two of them coming up like that. It's like you need to get somebody's advice about how to navigate the situation so that stability is maintained. Okay. As I said, I don't feel the need to read from the book because it's essentially a tarot deck. It just has deep, dark blue and green colors. There are definitely some images that end up kind of evoking something a little different than the Rider-Waite-Smith, but I generally welcome that sort of thing. So there we go. The Mermaid Tarot by Leeza Robertson and Julie Dillon.